What up, y'all? It is your boy, Illegit, back one mo again. Alright, so what we've got here today is, let me go here, is a review of a bubble hand I played recently, Stone Bubble, of a multi table tournament on ACR. Situation is there are so Stone Bubble 55 left exactly, 54 get paid. Normal payout structure, no PKOs or anything like that. So just a normal tournament. And the question is, um, what do we do in this position here? So we have 71K, which is we're about 13th last in chips. So we're near the bottom in chips. Out of 55 players left, we're 13th shortest basically. And then the shortest stack has about 6 big blinds. As you can see at our table, there's a few stacks with 7 and 8 big blinds. Also at other tables, there are some other stacks who also have 7 to 8 big blinds, with the shortest being at 6. Then a few who have 9 or 10, and then us with about 12, and another stack with 11 or something. So, anyways, that's about the and that exact sort of distribution of stacks is kind of critical on bubbles, for when you're running your simulations after the fact, to have a snapshot of to get the answer right. Because if, for example, there's a stack with 1 big blind rather than 6 big blinds, it probably changes the picture quite a bit, right? Um, yeah, or if there's a number of stacks with 1 to 2 big blinds, for example, then it probably changes it even more. So that's important to remember, is that we're short, but we're not near the shortest. We're a middling stack, but also we don't have an extremely playable stack with only 12 big blinds. So that's the situation, and the question is, what should we shove? What can we raise fold here? What should be our strategy here with King Queen off? In the hijack when folded to, which is what happens here. So it folds to us in the hijack. In game, I tanked and folded. I thought it was very close to being a shove, but with so many shorter stacks than me, and being very very close to the money, I decided that it was a fold. The very next hand, or during this hand actually, because we were playing hand for hand, someone else on another table busted, and which made me sadder that I didn't shove it, because that probably would have happened whether I shoved or not, right? And since that's profitable, most likely the person who busted had less chips than me. We still would have cashed, etc. So anyways, I wanted to review it after the fact and look at the answer, and that's what we're going to do in this video. So let's take a look over here. Okay, so this is, I ran the simulation 2 ways. One way giving us the option to min raise, which obviously if we have like aces, kings, or queens, we probably are going to want to min raise, right, off of 12 rather than open shove. But it also looks pretty suspicious when we're on the bubble and we only have 12 big blinds. So many of our hands are going to want to shove. So maybe we want to just play an open shove strategy. Anyways, I ran it both ways. So this is the way, running it with having only open shoves, from our position looks like. And we shove this range here. So as you can see, king, queen off is barely a profitable shove. And that's also presuming that, for example, the guy to our left who has a very short stack and needs to cash will appropriately only call queens plus, right? And there's a very good chance that's not true, right? Because he can definitely, not understand the ICM situation, and for sure call off ace king suited, jacks, ace king off even, tens, etc. So that this is predicated. This being positive EV is partly predicated on the stacks behind us calling, appropriately tightly. These calls here by the big stacks look more, realistic and reasonable. Same with this call by the big blind, looks more realistic and reasonable. Again, given the fact that it's a stone bubble, he probably is going to call quite tight. He might even call slightly tighter than this. But this guy, even understanding the bubble situations, probably isn't going to call as tight as this, right? So we could adjust this. But also he's shorter than us, so even if we open up his range a bit, it's probably not going to change too much. But basically, king queen off is extremely borderline. Even with these calling ranges behind us, it's only plus 0.04. Same thing with these small suited aces, very marginal plus EV. Again, assuming the fairly tight calling ranges behind us. So when the edge is that close, plus 0.01 of a big blind or whatever, obviously like foregoing that edge is not really a mistake. If it's more like this, king queen suited. which I said in game, king queen suited I would shove, king jack suited I would shove, and and those are, you know, the edge there is slightly bigger and probably worth it. But with king queen off, I do think foregoing it, even without messing with these ranges and seeing that it's plus 0.04, I think that play was okay by us. Because that you know, that is essentially break even. It's not, we're not foregoing much value there. But then if we tinker with this, right, and say that he calls, let's just say he only calls jacks and ace king suited more than he's supposed to, right? Okay, so I've adjusted his range, and now we go best response for us. Okay, so like I said, it doesn't change much, even though that's a lot more hands for him. But because he's the shorter one, we're still plus 0.03, so it doesn't change much for us. But if we give him ace king off and tens, and let's say ace queen suited as well, also not unreasonable for, you know, a real player to actually do. And then we say our best response. Now we see king queen off is plus 0.01. So yeah, so it's pretty marginal, even if everyone else is calling what they're supposed to be calling. And given, you know, the proclivities of most players, and I would think, like, including this guy, to probably call slightly wider than they're supposed to in a spot like that, then I think foregoing this jam was completely reasonable. That's looking at it whether we should, you know, just open shove or not. Now we can look at it if we can have any min raises in our range. So the way that it splits it up, if you give it the opportunity to min raise, is the range looks like this. It's hard to tell in this graph, but basically all these hands that are like bolded but also show minus EV, they're minus EV because you can't always min raise them. Basically, you're min raising them at some frequency. Same with all these offsuits. So you can profitably min raise them at a low frequency each, right? Like, and if you double click on this, which it's hard for me to bring up, but you can take my word for it. So it's opening, for example, ace 10 off for a min raise. 50% of the time, ace 9 off 30% of the time, ace 8, ace 7, ace 6, ace 5 off, you know, around 20% of the time. And then these suited aces, it's doing it between 18 and 25% of the time, these low suited aces. So basically, it's using those, you know, as your bluff open raises, the suited and the offsuit aces. And then, you know, and then like basically just queen, and then purely opening queens plus and ace king suited for value for min raise. So those are the only hands that you would min raise for value: queens plus, queens plus, and ace king suited plus, or ace king suited only, basically. All right, it also does throw a very like small, like 10% of the time min raising with king queen off, our exact hand, in there. That's why king queen off, you could see, is kind of bolded there too. So it's a very low percentage of min raising with king queen off if we have the opportunity to min raise, you know, kind of balancing with our kings and queens, you know. But in general, yeah, I don't think that looks very good. And then like our open jamming range looks very similar to what it did, you know, just a second ago. Like basically your suited broadways, ace queen off, yes, but, you know, very marginal plus EV. In this case, plus 0.01, so like barely plus EV with king queen off. Your ace king suited, which you don't min raise, your ace king, the ones that you don't min raise, so like, you know, 15% of them. Your ace king off, your ace queen off, your ace jack off, your and then ace 10 off at some percentage of the time, but not purely. Again, because you're mixing min raises with it. So that's what it looks like if you have the opportunity to throw min raise in there. How you should split up your range. I kind of like, sometimes we'll do one, sometimes we'll do the other. I could definitely see myself, for example, just open jamming queens there, and I don't think it's necessarily, you know, bad, just because like the difference between doing that and min raising is very marginal. But obviously you kind of don't want to open jam aces, kings, queens, right? So this is sort of more like a more realistic what you might do here. Given the bubble considerations, you might jam more often than you would normally. But again, this is what it does when you give it the chance to min raise or open jam, but still taking into consideration the fact of the bubble, right? So if this was just chip EV and it wasn't ICM and wasn't taking into consideration, it would be a lot different. Like it would raise, you know, it would probably min raise more often, probably add jacks in more often, have, you know, like more mix in bluffs with the min raise range. So yeah, so the ICM, I'm sure, is affecting it to a degree. Anyways, basically it looks like the fold with king queen off was good, even though again it's extremely borderline. If we had slightly better king 10 suited, say, or king jack suited, it's definitely slightly better jam. Even those are pretty close, honestly. But anyways, that's the video. Just wanted to go over that bubble ICM spot and get learn what we could from it, get more clear in our mind some bubble principles, and that's it. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Be sure to like and subscribe. Later.